peasants were essentially walking mud statues, voiceless, powerless, and just waiting for a knight to gallop over them on the way to a tournament. The truth? They actually had more rights than many people assume, just not the sort you'd brag about on a dating profile. Yes, peasants were at the bottom of the feudal hierarchy, but that didn't mean they were legally invisible. Many were bound to the land as serfs, but they still had recognised rights in manorial courts, which were like local legal clubs, minus the velvet ropes, and plus a lot more disputes over pigs. These courts allowed peasants to challenge fines, settle quarrels, and even sue their lord in some cases, though winning was a bit like winning a staring contest with the sun. They also had access to customary rights, the right to gather firewood, graze animals on common land, or fish in certain rivers. These commons were crucial to survival, and were fiercely defended. Try to take away a peasant's right to gather fallen branches, and you might wake up to find your hayrick mysteriously on fire. Taxes and dues were a burden, yes, but they were usually predictable. Peasants knew what they owed and could sometimes negotiate, which is more than can be said for your internet provider today. And while they owed labour to their lord, there were limits. The lord couldn't just demand you build him a moat because he got bored on a Tuesday. And then there's the myth that peasants never left their village, chained forever to the same patch of dirt. In reality, many travelled to markets, fairs, and even other towns for seasonal work. The road wasn't closed to them. It just required time, permission, and the ability to ignore every roadside alehouse on the way. So no, medieval peasants weren't living in some legal void where the lord could do whatever he wanted without consequence. Their rights might look small to us, but in their world, they were worth defending, sometimes to the death, or at least until after the harvest. The no rights myth survives because it's simple and dramatic, but real medieval life was more nuanced. Peasants were not only subjects, but also players in the complex game of feudal give and take. And like any good game, the rules were there, even if the house usually won. If you picture medieval castles as giant, cold slabs of grey stone looming over a perpetually muddy village, congratulations! You've been watching too many documentaries shot on cloudy days in November. In reality, medieval castles could be surprisingly colourful. And no, I don't mean from bloodstains after a siege. Castles were often plastered and painted in bright, eye-watering colours. Walls might be whitewashed to gleam in the sun, painted in stripes, or decorated with murals. Think less Gothic misery, and more medieval